What do you want here, lad?
God save, Monsignor. My name's Henry, and I've been sent by Sir Hanush of Lipa.
Sir Hanush, And why is he sending you?
I'm to assist you in your search.
Oh, I see. How considerate of him. Well, you've come at the right time. I need someone who'll go unnoticed among the locals. I'm sure Sir Hanush told you what I'm doing here.
He said you're looking for heretics?
Exactly. I'm seeking out the sores that inflict the body of the church. The rash of heretics. Waldensians. Dangerous heretics, one and all.
How can I help you then?
Excellent. Let's get right to the point, Henry. I know how to get to where the heretics congregate.
And what's stopping you from going there, sir?
That is to say, I know in theory. The crux of the matter is this. We caught a heretic in Kuttenberg who told us of the heretics in Uschitz. Regrettably, by the time he got around to describing their meeting place, he was already raving and hardly coherent.
I see. So do you know where they meet up, or don't you?
Possibly. His account was confused, to say the least. I have a record somewhere here. Can you read, boy?
Naturally, Father. Otherwise, Sir Hanush wouldn't have sent me.
I see. It's a good thing at least the servants of the nobility are getting a suitable education. Some of their own offspring can hardly write their own names. Here's the record of the interrogation. From what I can make out, his description of the route starts at the local tavern. Once you've found something out, come back and see me.
I'll do my best, Father.
Are there any suspects?
Everyone is a suspect. You can be sure of that. But I'll know more after I finish the interrogations.
How did you conclude there are heretics here?
We caught one in Kuttenberg. He confessed to everything, including meeting up with others in Uschitz a few times.
And that was all he told you?
By the end, all his strength had left him, so he couldn't even put together a list.
I see.
I'm pleased to hear it.
Who are these Waldensians? I've never heard of them.
Really? Then you've either not been paying attention in church, or the parish priest in Ratai is too idle to read out the bishop's missive to the congregation. Both possibilities are equally disturbing, but I'll allow you the benefit of the doubt, and assume it's the latter. But to answer your question, it's a heretical sect.
I gathered that much, but what form does the heresy take?
Look, boy, I don't have time right now to embark on theological disputation. Besides which, it's not something you need concern yourself with. Suffice it to say, they are heretics.
Very well, Monsignor. I'll get working on it, sir.
God be with you, my son.
It seems I've found it. A cross, nicely carved. Someone in the village might recognize it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ be praised.
I'm looking for the owner of this cross. Do you happen to know whose it is?
No, I don't. But why not ask the priest? He blesses all the crosses in the village.
Thanks. I'll ask him.
The parish priest here in Ujius, he's a peculiar sort of cleric. I noticed he's quite handy with a sword.
He is indeed. He's as hard as nails. More than once he's intervened in a brawl in the tavern and sat everyone on their asses. He's not to be taken lightly.
I doubt he acquired those skills at the seminary.
You know how it goes. The nobles send their youngest sons to study for the priesthood, and our parish priest has blue blood in him. He probably learned to fight at home before he went to university. That's how it goes with those aristocrats. But I heard something happened and he was roving the world for a while. I don't know what he got up to, though. Good luck to you.
The village folk said you consecrate the crosses they keep at home.
Indeed I do. Why do you ask, Hal?
I was just wondering if you could remember who owns this one.
I could, but I might not want to tell you.
Why?
People said they saw you talking with a vicar. They're afraid that Sir Hanush sent you here to help him.
That's not how it is.
And how is it?
Sir Hanush sent me to find out what he wants, and to get him out of here if possible.
Well, then we share the same interest. But I'd still prefer it to end with nobody burned at the stake.
You needn't worry. There are no heretics here.
So I would hope. But these inquisitors always find something. They hate to go back to their superiors empty-handed. Where did you find the cross?
Let's do a deal. I'll tell you where I found it, and you tell me whose it is.
Very well. Tell me.
I found it in the woods. It looked like people met there. There were other things, candles, a cloth, and so on.
Damn it. That really does seem like...
That the vicar is right to be looking here? It surprised me, too. So whose is it?
The cross is definitely the Bowers, I remember that. But that just can't be. I can't believe it. If they really are heretics, though...
What do you want to do?
I don't know. But I'll do anything in my power to prevent a heretic witch hunt taking hold here.
If there are any heretics here, they have to be driven out. You mustn't have pity on them, Father. They're like the plague.
Heretics or not, you don't know what you're talking about. I've seen this sort of thing. But very well, if you say so. Still, I'm sure you won't mind if we first find out how things stand.
How would you go about it?
That's simple. Listen to how they say their prayers.
But how can I listen to their private prayers? I don't suppose they'll be praying that way in the church.
Certainly not. In the church, they'd pray the usual way. But at home, it's a different matter entirely. I know they meet at the farm in the evening with all the domestics. They'll surely be praying then.
All right, but how can I listen in?
I don't know. Crouch beneath the window? Climb up in the loft? That way you'll be sure to hear everything said in the main room.
What do you know about the Bowers?
When I think about it now, they're a little peculiar.
What do you mean?
Well, they do rather keep themselves to themselves. They attend Mass, true enough. They leave the moment it's over. And I've never seen them at a dance or a celebration of any kind. But on the other hand, they give more alms to the needy in the village than anyone. I can't deny them that.
Where did those Bauer folk come from?
I don't really know. I've never spoken to them much, but they've not been here long, only 2 or 3 years.
And the cross? Did you consecrate that for the Bauers themselves?
No. It belonged to the family who lived on the farm before them. That was quite a sad story.
Right, I'll get on with it.
Farewell.
Ah, I could try listening from here.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts which we are bound to receive from thy bounty. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. They took old Wenzel to the presbytery today. His farm is nearby. It's only a matter of time before...
Before they come for me. I know.
And what are we going to do about it? That vicar is baying for blood, the beast. He will devour you alive.
I do not intend to do anything about it. I shall not waver from my faith, nor turn my back on it.
My dear, what on earth are you saying?
If they come for me, I will go quietly. And I will not lie.
Are you serious? Don't you know what they'll do to you?
I can well imagine. But I am resolved.
The Lord have mercy.
Do not fear. I surrender to God's will. And I do not condemn you if you decide to leave.
I'll stay by your side, although I'd rather that you decided otherwise.
I know. And you have no fear, my brothers in Christ. Stay true to God's plan, as I shall. Go and spread the true faith amongst all good folk.
I'm sorry, I wish there was another way.
You should eat your supper and depart right away. Who knows? You may come for us at dawn.
So I went to check on the Bauer farm, and I don't have good news.
Do tell.
They most certainly are heretics, at least as far as I can tell.
Are you sure? What did you hear?
Well, for a start, the evening prayers were led by a woman.
That is certainly unusual, but nothing conclusive in itself.
But that's not all. They're afraid the vicar will be coming after them.
Who wouldn't fear that? That swine finds fault with everyone.
Well, it's not like you'd have to try too hard. Mrs. Bauer plans to confess everything.
Confess what, exactly?
Most likely her faith. The people of the farm were trying to discourage that, but her mind's made up.
Oh, good lord, that's all I need. What am I to do?
She's planning to confess. What would you like to do?
You have to talk them out of it, Hal. You must convince them to run.
Me? And what am I supposed to say to them? I'm the one who's been hunting them down.
So who better? Do you think they'll listen to me? I'm a priest. If there's anyone they can't abide, it's me. You have to try at least. For their own good and for yours, Hal.
You're right. Someone has to help them.
I'm glad you see it that way. Now hurry. You never know when the vicar might come for them. See you later.
Good God. What happened to your clothes? If you were robbed, you should report it.
Mistress Bauer,
What is it you need?
I've come to ask something of you.
Have you? And just who are you, young man?
That doesn't matter. The important thing is that I want to help you and your husband.
I admit that I'm a little confused. You've come to ask me something, but at the same time you want to help me. What's going on?
I want to ask you not to confess to the vicar. Just take your husband and get out of here while there's still time.
I have no idea why you're so taken with my fate, or how you found out about my intentions, but I'll tell you one thing. Changing my mind is out of the question. I won't betray my faith, nor my brothers in Christ.
You speak of your brothers in Christ, but what about the people in Ujits?
What of them? Most of them are idlers, gamblers, adulterers, or outright thieves.
Maybe they aren't folk after your own heart, but does that mean they aren't worthy of salvation? Isn't that up to God to decide?
I'm just describing, not judging them. That judgment does indeed rest solely with our Lord.
But if you confess, all those people will be in danger. God knows how many of them will end up burned at the stake merely because of the vicar's dislike.
The vicar will be the one to send them to the flames, not I. Am I to blame for the sins of others?
No, but you can prevent more sinning. Isn't that your mission? To keep people from sinning?
You may be right, but I can't lie. It's against all my teaching.
You won't have to lie if you're never asked any questions. Just leave. You can preach elsewhere. I'm sure you have lots of friends who'd love to take you in.
But I don't want to run.
No one wants to run away, but sometimes we have no choice. If you run, your faith will live on. That must mean something.
You're right. I shouldn't give in so easily. I've just grown so weary of the endless persecution.
You should pack up and run away as soon as you can. The vicar might get here any minute.
Thank you.
Don't delay.
May the Lord watch.
My respects to you.
I found them, Monsignor.
Pardon me?
I found the heretics.
Really? And who are they?
The Bauer family and their entire household.
Well, I expect you to give me some evidence. In the last few days, I've been hearing how practically everyone here is a heretic.
I found that place the captive heretic talked about, and I found a family cross there. It took a bit of asking around, but I learned it belongs to the Bauers. Their farm isn't far from here, to the north. And then all I had to do was go there and do a little spying.
What of it? What did you hear?
Nothing at all. The farm was deserted, not a living soul anywhere.
Ha! They fled. So they are heretics.
What will you do, Monsignor?
It's not the first time the devil's spawn has fled from me. I'll do the same as always. Track them down and capture them. Don't worry, they won't get far. Thank you for your help. You may leave. May the Lord watch over you.
God bless you. What troubles you?
Sir, I met the parish priest of Ujits, and I must say he's a very interesting man.
I should say so. Have you ever seen him at swordplay? Not bad for a man of the cloth, is he? Rumour has it, when he finished his studies at the university where his father sent him, he decided the religious life wasn't for him, and vanished to foreign parts. They say he made a living as a mercenary. I even heard he fought against the Turk at the Battle of Kosovo. And then he suddenly came back and settled down here. No doubt it cost his family plenty. But he's a fair man, and I'm fond of him. There's a lot to be said for a priest with a good understanding of vice.
It's all sorted out, sir. You've no need to worry about the vicar anymore.
Excellent. Some good news at last. I've heard some pretty wild rumors from Uzhitz. So what happened there exactly?
Maybe this will surprise you, sir, but there really were heretics in Uzhitz.
Are you telling me the vicar didn't come to stick his nose in my possessions?
I don't know about that, but he definitely suspected there were heretics hereabouts, and he was right.
Christ. A man doesn't expect that sort of thing in his own fiefdom. Did you catch them?
No, they ran away. The vicar's investigation wasn't exactly low-key. Anyway, they've definitely fled beyond your estate.
Well, that's at least something. And the vicar?
He's probably hot on their heels.
Well, I hope he doesn't come back. Anyway, Henry, thanks for dealing with that vicar. You pulled a thorn from my side. Here's a little token of my gratitude.
Thank you, sir.
God be with you.
Yeah!
My humble greetings. How may I serve you?
How are the Talmberg folk getting on? Is it peaceful here?
Do you even have to ask? Some poachers have settled in the woods near the inn. A right band of them too. The master huntsman's at his wit's end with them. Maybe he could use your help. Yeah, and another thing. I heard from the stonemasons there's been some trouble at the quarry. Hope it doesn't drive them away. They spend a lot here. Thirsty work, you know. I just hope Sir Divish and his quarrymaster get it sorted out.
What happened to Johanka?
Nothing good, I'm sorry to say. She was locked up by the papal inquisitor Bishop Yaroslav of Benešov. It seems he somehow caught wind of this preaching of hers. He's accused her of spreading heresy and had her placed under arrest.
Well, we must do something.
Well, you can try talking to Bishop Yaroslav. He can tell you more. As a servant of the royal hetman, your name ought to carry some weight with him. But watch your step. This matter is entirely in the hands of church law, so you mustn't overestimate your lay authority here.
Jesus Christ. What's going to happen to her?
I don't know, Henry. It all depends on the Inquisitor and how he decides. The accusations brought against Johanka are very serious.
Right. I'll go and see this Bishop Yaroslav of Benishov.
May God go with you. And thank you, Henry. I'm glad you're standing up for your hanker. If you need anything, do come and see me.
Are the wounded and sick getting better, brother?
Some will soon go to the Lord. All we can do is give them the last rites. But others will be granted a longer time here on earth.
So you don't have so many sick and injured now?
Well, yes. But the whole monastery is being rebuilt for the greater glory of God, and there have been accidents. Broken bones and bruises aren't rare.
It's not surprising. Building work's dangerous.
Yes, but now we have a man lying waiting to be taken into God's arms, and all because of bad stone.
What happened exactly?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Brother Overseer. He'll know more. All I've heard are rumours about a devil's skull being found and that our monastery's cursed. Such blasphemy!
Take care.
I am honoured that you should come to me.
I'd like to look at the place where the accident happened. Do I have your permission to enter the construction site?
And what's your interest in this matter? It's not the first accident, and I'm afraid it won't be the last. These things happen. There's no cause for investigation.
But if the stone was actually poor quality, then there should be consequences, shouldn't there?
Consequences? Yes, maybe. Oh, very well. Talk to the master builder, and he'll tell you more.
Thank you.
But be careful. Don't interfere in their work and don't get in the way, or you're likely to end up with a broken head yourself. God be with you.
God almighty, has something happened to you? Did someone steal your fancy clothes?
The Overseer sent me. You're to show me the place where the accident happened.
Like I've got time to spare to show you round. He should have done it himself. Why do you want to know, anyway?
Because of the Talmberg stone. If they really are delivering poor quality material, then there should be consequences.
I'd be interested in what kind. But I'm guessing the Overseer likes the idea of cheaper stone, right?
And have you noticed anything else going on?
Of course. It's a construction site. Things are always going wrong. The men are always complaining and the work isn't being done fast enough.
So it's just like any other building work?
Essentially, yes. Occasionally someone brings in bad wood or a man cuts off his thumb and blames it on a bad omen, and then there's all these rumors going round.
I'd be interested to know what the men talk about.
Who's been stealing, which men from the monastery go to visit women, how the work's going, normal things. It's only the talk about the curse that's not in the normal run of things. And then there's that devil's skull they dug up.
You talked about the devil's skull?
I did. They say it was found in the hole dug for the foundation of the scaffolding. They moved it so it would do its harm elsewhere. But I wasn't there to see it, so I don't know.
And who might know more?
Shouldn't you be investigating the stone? Leszek's in charge of the scaffolding, so ask him if you really have to know. He might tell you something.
Who's stealing? Could someone be stealing the stone?
According to the rumors, everyone, from the abbot and the custodian down to the lowest laborer. It's like with whores and dice. There's no protection against slander. And something gets lost here and there, that's true. But nobody stole any stone. There wouldn't be any left if every man here started helping himself, would there?
Where's the scene of the accident?
It didn't happen on the main site. It was at the outbuilding next to the church, right under the long stairs before the entrance door. Ask my assistant who's in charge there. You'll easily recognize him. He dresses up like he owns the place. Goodbye.
God grant you health. How may I help you?
I heard you found something.
It's true. I dug it up during work. I then ran away with it and got rid of it so the others wouldn't see. But rumours spread anyway.
And what was it that nobody was supposed to see?
What do you think? A demon skull.
Here? On holy ground? In the middle of the monastery?
But it was outside the monastery walls.
Where exactly? Is there anything else there worth seeing?
Nothing but scaffolding. We started digging there to set foundations for extending it.
And are you sure it was a devil's skull?
I know what I saw. I can recognize a human skull, and this one had horns, like the devil. Besides, that thing gave off a diabolical stink.
And where is it now? What did you do with it?
I was taking it down to the river to throw it in, only I dropped it at the top of the slope and it rolled downhill. The devil alone knows where it ended up.
I'll see if I can find it.
Good luck, then.
This has to be the stone that hit him. I'll take a piece of it. Maybe someone will recognize it. It looks genuine, but I'm not capable of judging.
Over here.
God's blessings. What can I do for you?
I found this skull. People are saying it's the skull of a demon, but I don't know.
It certainly looks like it, with the horns and all. Well, let's see. Those are deer antlers that someone's fixed to this human skull. It's not a devil, just a bit of devilry.
I'm glad to hear it's not the real thing. Someone must have put it there deliberately, knowing that's where they were due to dig.
And they put a lot of work into it too. The horns are held on tight, even though it was lying in water. Whoever did this was skilled bugger, and no mistake.
God's blessings. What can I do for you?
Here's the cursed stone that caused so much damage.
It's old and weathered. But this isn't my stone.
What?
Well, this stone isn't from my quarry. See the grain? That's not from the weathering. The stone is from somewhere else. Goodbye.
God save you.
I looked around, and the stone that fell on that man is different from the rest.
Yes, it's very poor. but we have to work with what we've got. We didn't have anything else, and we couldn't wait for more.
That's not what I meant. It's not the same kind of stone that came from Talmberg. Someone must have switched it.
But why would anyone do that?
Well, maybe he was stealing new stone and replacing it with old stuff. Or to sabotage the construction, I don't know.
But the carriage never moved. It rained a lot and we couldn't get any work done, or we'd have been up to our ankles in mud.
So, someone had to take it out without being seen?
That huge piece of rock. It would take a few strong men to shift something that size. I know you're trying to help, but someone would have noticed. It couldn't be done without anyone seeing it.
The skull is a fake. Someone fixed horns on a human skull.
But where would they get a human skull? And why would they do it?
Maybe to frighten the workers? Raise the price?
But that wouldn't help anyone. It had to be some idiot's idea of a prank. An idiot who was nearly responsible for getting a man killed. Good luck then.
I hope I can be of some humble service to you.
Who's in charge of purchasing materials for the construction?
Mainly it's me. I pay the fees and make arrangements for delivery, but those in charge of the actual building take care of the rest. I'm not knowledgeable when it comes to the quality of stone. They had the red stone delivered from a long way off.
They take care of storage as well?
Yes, but usually whatever arrives is used up straight away. The construction is in full progress.
Do you remember when they brought the last delivery of stone?
Yes. It rained a lot that week, so they let the carriage sit right outside of the gate on the other side of the wall. It took some time before it was dry enough for further transport.
And there wasn't anything strange about it?
A little strange, I suppose. Usually they bring us a large block of stone, which the builders cut to size. But this time it was a number of smaller pieces. No one complained. They probably saw it as less work.
This is the block that fell on him.
And what am I supposed to see? I don't know anything about stone.
This stone isn't from Talmberg. Someone must have switched it.
Someone from here? We have guards, and a wagon full of stone isn't something you can haul around single-handed.
I'm telling you, it's not from the Talmberg quarry. I'll find out who's behind it. I found the head they dug up near the scaffolding.
And what about it?
Someone put it there on purpose. And the horns are fake. They were stuck on. It's definitely nothing to do with the devil.
So someone really is plotting against us. But what does he hope to gain from it?
I don't know. But I'll try to find out. Have you seen Leszek, the scaffolder?
I saw him. What do you want with him?
I want to talk to him about the head he dug up.
Really? That's interesting.
Why?
He asked me to meet him on the scaffolding tonight, so he can tell me something important. Said he wanted to confess something.
So he did have something to do with the skull. I knew it.
Maybe. But I'd wager someone made him do it. He doesn't seem the type to come up with something like that on his own. I'm planning to go and meet him. Will you come with me?
It will be safer with the two of us. I'll go.
Very well. We'll meet at night. If I'm not down at the bottom, then look for me at the top.
All right.
Yeah.
My God, what happened to you? You look like you've been assaulted.
I've been looking for you. But what are you doing here?
I came here to arrange some wood for the scaffolding, and...
I had the skull examined, and the horns have been stuck on. Why did you put it there?
I didn't.
Then who did? Someone had to know where you'd be digging, so they could make sure you found it there.
It was young Zmolla who told me to put it there. He brought it to me hole and told me to dig it up in front of as many people as possible.
And why would he do that?
How would I know? You'll have to ask him.
Did he have something to do with the bad stone as well?
I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised.
What am I to do with you now?
Why? All I did was dig up the skull and then throw it away.
But you helped Zmolla. And if you helped him with that, I bet there were other things you helped him with too.
Bollocks! I didn't do anything else.
I should punish you, or let them lock you up.
You can't. It's Zmolla you want. I didn't do anything.
All right. Then you'll come with me to the Overseer and tell him that it was Zmolla.
But he'll kill me. Why do you think I'm hiding from him?
They'll lock him up before anything happens to you. There's no need to fear.
Goodbye.
I brought the scaffolder. He'll confirm that Zmolla's to blame for everything.
Will he? And what should I do with him now?
Lock him up so he doesn't run away. I imagine he'll be happy to admit to everything.
Very well. I'll have him brought in to explain what he did. And you, Leszek, come here. I want to ask you some questions.
God save you, Henry.
Hey.
Leszek told me everything. He said you were behind it all.
Leszek said that. He's a damn liar.
Save your breath. I know it was you.
So what now?
So you admit it?
We'll see. So, what do you propose to do about it?
Tell me why you did it, and maybe...
Maybe what? What if I tell you I didn't mean to do it? What if I did it to become the master builder? What if I couldn't stand it here anymore?
Why then?
All of those things. First, it was just chance, but then gradually... But enough. If you want to do something to me, go ahead and try. Ah! Ah! Ah!
What's up? Shit yourself?
How are you?
It was young Zmolla.
What?
Zmola's the one responsible for all the thefts and death. He tried to kill me and Leszek, and God knows who else.
Sweet Jesus. Where is he now?
Dead. I killed him in self-defense.
So is that the end of it, do you think?
It looks that way. I don't know if he had any cronies, but if he did, they'll be lying low from now on.
I'm glad to hear that. After all the horrible things that have happened, we'll have to reconsecrate part of the monastery. Good luck then.
Where can I find this Inquisitor?
He's staying here in the monastery grounds. His quarters are on the upper floor.
What actually happened here?
Johanka told me you went to Auschwitz?
Yeah? What's that got to do with anything?
The Inquisitor showed up here not long after you left. Apparently he heard about Johanka's preaching somehow. He even observed one of her sermons outside the town in disguise. He had her brought to him and spent a long time trying to discourage her from what she was doing. But then she went out again to preach about her visions outside of town. But before she even started, the Inquisitor turned up with Fabian and the guards. He said Johanka had ignored his outright ban, and he had her taken away. Then he warned the people there that Johanka was spreading heresy and undermining the church's authority, and forbade them to listen to her.
That's all? Didn't you speak to the Inquisitor?
No, actually I didn't. He saw me there listening to her preaching, and I was afraid to come forward and talk to him.
Aha. Well, that's understandable.
Thanks.
It sounds pretty serious.
Quiet!
It is. I'm afraid it could be very serious indeed.
What exactly does an Inquisitor do?
The Inquisition is a papal institution that deals with heresy, so people don't succumb to charlatans, false prophets and deceptions, and put their faith and their immortal souls in jeopardy. The Inquisitors have all sorts of powers, the kind we here can do very little to stand up to.
And what can he do to Johanka?
I'm not entirely sure. These legal issues are very complicated, but he could certainly excommunicate her, and maybe even sentence her to death.
Who is this Bishop Yaroslav?
I've never heard of him before, but the prior has. He said he's very well learned and the Bishop of Sarepta.
Sarepta? Where's that, Moravia?
No, it's far, far away, near the Holy Land. He got the title from the Holy Father himself.
I just can't.
And this bishop came all the way here from whatever?
Sarepta, but I doubt he's ever been there. It used to be a bishopric in the days of the Apostolic Fathers in Phoenicia, near Israel, but it was ransacked by the Muslims. Now it's just a titular bishopric, and Yaroslav is the titular bishop.
Titular bishop? Like he's not a real one?
It's, let's say, an honorary title. It refers to a diocese that no longer exists. And since a titular bishop has no diocese to oversee, he can devote himself to handling other very important church affairs, like ordaining other prelates, for example, to maintain succession through the centuries down from the time of Christ and his apostles.
Do you believe Johanka is really being visited by the Virgin Mary?
Well, yes, Henry, I do. The things she says and the way she speaks. She doesn't sound like herself at all. I know she can't read, so where else could she have got it?
Quiet!
Frankly, I can't think of any other explanation, within the bounds of this world.
What actually happened here?
Johanka told me you went to Auschwitz.
Yeah.
But then...
It sounds pretty serious.
It is. I'm afraid it could be very serious indeed.
Goodbye.
Sir, I am...
Henry of Skalitz, from the garrison of the royal hetman, Sir Radzig Kobyla. I've heard a lot about you, my son. I'm pleased to meet you.
Bishop Yaroslav, sir, my lord, to what do I owe your interest in my humble self?
I was told you survived the massacre in Skalitz and warned the Talmberg garrison. You tracked down the raiders of a stud farm in Neuhof, wasn't it? To their hideout in the woods. And then you led Sir Radzig and his armed company there and joined bravely in the skirmish, and even killed their notorious leader by your own hand. And I believe you have many other deeds to your name. That's quite remarkable, considering your age, is it not?
I had some unsettled accounts to deal with, and I still do.
Mm-hmm. You're clearly not lacking in determination. A word of caution, though. Fervor can easily lead to recklessness. Nevertheless, I assume you came on account of Johanka.
Yes.
Then tell me what's on your mind.
How did you find out about Johanka?
Word came to me of what was happening here. That some young girl was claiming to speak for the Blessed Virgin. I traveled here immediately, as my duty demanded, and observed events in Sasau incognito, in order to examine the matter at first hand.
I see. Why did you have her imprisoned?
Because she broke the promise she made to me, and persisted in actions that bear the signs of heresy.
And what will happen to Johanka now?
I must weigh the gravity of her transgressions, and investigate these alleged visions of hers. I consider it very improbable that she is indeed being visited by the Blessed Virgin. Nevertheless, I cannot at this time rule it out entirely.
So you think it could be true? In that case, Johanka hasn't done anything wrong.
It's not that straightforward. Even if her visions were real, she was at fault for interpreting them as she saw fit and preaching to the people.
So you decide just like that? But you don't even know Johanka.
I certainly do not decide just like that. I'm thoroughly examining the entire matter, and you would be well advised not to question my authority. I will call Johanka and the witnesses, question them, and then pronounce a verdict.
And if you decide she's guilty, will you have her burned at the stake?
Good gracious, no. I have no wish to see her die. As St. Augustine said, heretics should be saved, not put to death. The triumph of the Church is their salvation, not their death, even if they deserve it. If I find her guilty of any heresy, she will be punished, but the severity of her punishment will depend on her will to repent and make amends.
I see. And will there be anyone there to defend Johanka?
Do you doubt my judgment?
I would never be so bold, sir. But surely it would be only just that someone should speak for Johanka about all her good deeds and so forth?
Naturally, I will also question those who would speak in her defense. Since you are interceding, I expect you have someone in mind?
Yes. Actually, me.
As I surmised. But this matter does not directly concern you. Why should I allow you to appear before the court?
Johanka is my neighbour, and I have a Christian duty to come to her aid. I can't just stand by and do nothing.
I have to concur with you on that. Your concern seems sincere, so I will grant your request. Very well. You will defend Johanka. You may speak in her defense if you so wish, and you may also bring witnesses. I will question any such witnesses, and naturally I shall question Johanka too.
Thank you, Monsignor. In that case, I'll need to speak to Johanka first.
That won't be possible. It's forbidden by the Inquisition procedure. Until the entire matter is resolved, Johanka can speak only to me, and no one else. I would like to expedite the matter. The trial will take place in Sasau Church in 3 days' time at the latest. Come and let me know when you're ready to proceed. In the meantime, I will continue my investigation.
Very well, Monsignor. I had better get on with it then, sir. Farewell.
Before you go, you know Johanka longer than anyone else. You spent a lot of time with her, as I've discovered. Tell me, my son, truthfully, what do you think of this whole affair?
Johanka is an honest girl, and virtuous. She's a good Christian, who attends church and thinks of others.
Good. Please continue.
Johanka helped a lot of people. She worked her fingers to the bone helping Brother Nicodemus with the sick and injured.
That is certainly commendable. What else can you tell me about her?
Well, before, in Skalitz, Johanka was sort of, well, just a simple village girl. I never imagined I'd hear her talking the way she does now. She's completely transformed.
A simple village girl. I see. Do continue.
About the Virgin Mary? I believe the Virgin does visit her. Johanka is honest. She wouldn't lie about such a thing. And the things she says sound truthful and compelling. It really does seem like a heavenly revelation. Who else could it be from? But the Virgin Mary.
The origin of these so-called visions of hers must be investigated. But thank you for your candor. Is there anything else you can tell me?
She's worried about Matthias. He's from Skalitz too, and she's very fond of him. But he was wounded in a raid on Merhojed recently, and since then he's been lying in a fever. Johanka believes that if she does what the Blessed Virgin wants of her, Matthias might be healed.
Interesting. Anything else?
That's about all I can tell you.
Is that really everything?
I have nothing more to add, Monsignor.
Very well. Thank you, my son. One more thing before you go. Let me remind you that it's your Christian duty to report anything suspicious going on concerning the Church and the true faith, if you're aware of anything of the sort in these parts. If you prove yourself a commendable servant of the Church, I would also take that into account in judging Johanka's case.
All right, Monsignor. I'll bear that in mind.
Goodbye.
Brother Nicodemus.
You've heard something?
The Inquisitor has decided that Johanka will be tried, but he's agreed that I can defend her.
That's really quite unusual. It must mean he hasn't come to a clear conclusion yet.
Yes. I'll get her out of it.
I'm afraid it may not be that easy. The thing is, I expect Johanka will say the same things before the court that she's been preaching.
What are you saying?
Well, I've been thinking about what she's been saying, and it seems to me her preaching has a certain progression. Are you acquainted with the notion of the 3 orders of man?
Not really, no.
It's like this. It's said that everyone has their God-given place and purpose on earth. Laboratores, oratores, and bellatores. Those who work, those who pray, and those who fight. The common folk are born to work, to reap the fruits of the earth and to obey the laws of God and man. It is the purpose of the nobles to protect the people and the church against all dangers and to maintain peace and justice on earth. And the church in turn has the task of caring for the spiritual welfare of all, ensuring the salvation of their souls and bringing solace to the people in times of hardship, so that they can endure their earthly trials and enter the kingdom of heaven.
But what's all that got to do with Johanka?
Well, I noticed in her first sermon she primarily addressed the concerns of the common folk, and in the second, she criticized the nobility.
Ah. So you think she might start talking about the church?
Yes, I'm afraid she might. I dread to think how that might end up. Henry, you must warn her against that. She must show humility before the Inquisitor, and the wisest course would be to admit to being wrong. She's rather stubborn, but perhaps she'll listen to you.
But the Inquisitor said no one's allowed to see her.
No one except the Inquisitor's own men. You'll just have to think something up. I'm afraid Johanka's fate is mainly in your hands now. I'm relying on you.
God be with you.
Adela, the Inquisitor is going to try Johanka in court.
Oh, Lord. I hope she's acquitted. I was absolutely devastated when they took her away.
I need people to speak in her defense, and I'd like to ask you to do it.
I don't want to go there. Really. I'm afraid of that Inquisitor. But you helped me, and so did Johanka. It's only right that I should try and help her. But what am I supposed to say there? I'm just a simple village girl. I don't know anything about these things.
That doesn't matter. You just be yourself. It should be enough to talk about all the good Johanka does here, and how she helps others. I'll send for you if you're needed.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
God's blessings. What can I do for you?
I need something from you, sir. I suppose you heard that Johanka was locked up by the Inquisitor and is facing charges of heresy.
I did, and it's most disturbing news.
What you might not know is that he's agreed that I can defend her at the trial.
You? Do you even know what to say?
Sure I know. It'll turn out just fine. Trust me. But I need you to testify at the court. In Johanka's defense, of course.
Naturally. You don't think I could just sit here and do nothing? Besides, the bishop has already insisted that I appear before the court.
Oh. All right.
One moment. I apologize if I was a little hasty. This whole affair has left me anxious. I appreciate that you want to defend her. However, I don't think it would have any effect. No offense, but I don't think you'll be able to achieve anything in court. I'm afraid the Inquisitor will judge as he sees fit, whatever anyone says. But I have an idea how you could help.
Oh? How's that?
Flee. With Johanka, of course.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm sure Johanka will be acquitted by the court and everything will be all right. Running would just confirm the Inquisitor's suspicions, and she'd always be looking over her shoulder.
I don't agree. As I said, I don't believe you can affect the outcome of the court. If Johanka flees, yes, she'll have to lie low for a while, but in time it will all blow over. You can take her anywhere, as long as it's far enough from here. A girl like that will always find her feet. She can easily hide out somewhere where she's not known. Maybe there could even be a place for her on my estate. Think about it. But whatever you decide, if Johanka comes to any harm, you'll have me to answer to. I'm very fond of her, and her of me, and I don't want anything to happen to her, understand? But if everything ends well, I'll show you my gratitude, I assure you.
I found this document in the woods by Sasau. Careful, it's a bit bloody.
Don't tell me those fools got themselves. To hell with it. And did you come across any cumans?
There were some cumans camping there, but they've probably pulled out.
If all the vermin in these parts would conveniently disappear, my life would be a lot easier. Thanks for your report. Goodbye.
Goodman Pavel, you're still here. That's a relief. I was afraid I'd miss you.
Yes, still here, but not for long. I had some business to deal with, but now that's out of the way and I'm getting ready to leave. What was it you wanted?
You might have heard that Johanka was arrested by the Inquisitor and is facing trial.
Indeed, word has reached me. Poor girl.
I'd like to ask you to speak to the court in Johanka's defense.
Of course, Henry. You have my word. And the word of a burgher of Colleen ought to mean something. But to speak in defense of someone accused of heresy is no small matter. What do you want me to say?
The same thing you told me. That it was a sacred sign that you happened to be nearby when Johanka was speaking, and so on.
True. I'll tell the bishop that. You can rest assured.
Thank you very much. Please wait here a few more days for the court to convene, then I'll send for you.
All right. For Johanka's sake, I'll wait. Good luck.
The Lord be praised. How may I help you?
I need your help with something. I'm sure you've heard. Johanka was locked up by the Inquisitor.
Who hasn't? The whole of Sasso is talking about it. And the Inquisitor was asking around about her.
I'd like to ask you to appear before the court and say something in Johanka's defense.
I can't say I'm keen on going there. But Johanka helped me. And you did too. I think it's only right that someone should say something good about her.
Ah, thanks, Guta. I appreciate it. I'll send for you when it's time.
God be with...
Father, the Inquisitor has had Johanka thrown in jail.
I know, son.
He's planning a hearing.
Rightly so. It's about time this whole matter was dealt with.
What do you think about it, then?
As I say, it's a good thing that the matter is being investigated. The things Johanka has been preaching are, to say the least, disturbing. Who knows what these dreams are that she speaks of? And her words are only putting ideas in people's heads and leading them astray. Now, instead of going to church, as they should, they go to her in the false belief that they will find solace. It's creating a chasm between the people and the church and leading them away from the true teaching left to us by Christ. They're misguided and swamped in heretical ideas.
But Johanka is no heretic. She's a good, kind girl who's only trying to do the right thing. I'll defend her.
Suit yourself. But mind you don't get ensnared in her fallacies, and leave it to the bishop to judge the matter.
Of course.
Goodbye.
Master Bailiff, Inquisitor Yaroslav is going to try Johanka.
I know. He was here asking questions, too.
Oh? What did he want to know?
Various things. Like how things are here, whether people are honest, whether we observe the fest days, and so forth. And then he asked about Johanka, about what she preaches, whether people come to listen to her and that. He's been talking to a lot of other people in Sasau too. I even heard that Katra, the swordsmith's wife, invited him to dine with them.
That's interesting. Thanks for telling me. Was he just asking questions, or does he want you to testify before the court?
Yes, he did ask me to testify, and I'm none too happy about it.
I see. And what are you going to say about her?
It depends what I'm asked, but there's not much I can say. I don't know Johanka very well. She seems virtuous and self-sacrificing to me. She's never done anything wrong, and no one here ever had a cross word to say about her, until recently. Maybe some gossip about her and Sir Sebastian. But I've heard similar talk about half the women folk here.
Johanka has helped a lot of people here, selflessly. Her heart is in the right place.
True. But then there's that preaching of hers. Folk have been falling out. They're split according to whether they believe Johanka or not. I don't know quite what to think of it myself. But I don't want to jump to conclusions. I'll wait and see what the learned bishop has to say.
Thank you for speaking openly, Master Bailiff.
Farewell.
I'm here about Johanka.
You're that fella of hers, are you? What do you want?
No. I'm just a friend of hers. Matthias is her, fella.
Huh. God knows how many she has.
I heard you invited Bishop Yaroslav to come and dine with you?
Yes, so what? Bishop Yaroslav is an esteemed visitor to Sasau, and it's only fitting he should be suitably hosted by devout burghers.
What have you got against Johanka?
Nothing. The question is, what has she got against us? Tell me that.
What?
She turns up here and tries to tell us how to live our lives. Says the Virgin Mary whispers to her in the night. Yeah, I'm sure. To a simple village wench. I'd like to know who's really putting those ideas in her head. She's just getting people all worked up. Men, especially. Coming around here with her nonsense. Sasau is a decent, orderly place, I'll have you know. We don't want any trouble here. All this talk about hellfire and the end of the world. God have mercy. No one is interested in what she has to say. All they want is some spectacle. She ought to have thought twice before she started. Not that she wasn't warned.
What do you mean, warned?
As I said, she was told.
Tell me everything you know. I represent the royal hetman, so don't try and keep anything from me.
If you must know, some of the fellas want to have it out with her and tell her to stop. No one wants her speeches here. But would she listen? No. The devil possessed her to bring harm to us.
So it was you who sent those men?
All I wanted was to protect the Sasau folk against her poisonous tongue. And I'll do just that. The Monsignor asked me to testify in court. And I'll tell everything I know there.
And I'll do likewise. Farewell.
Go. Goodbye.
Hey, clear off. No one's allowed to talk to Johanka. Bishop Yaroslav's orders.
I'm sure the bishop wouldn't mind if you had to go and answer a call of nature. And if it were a nice long call, there'd be a few groschen in it for you.
Don't even try it. I'm warning you.
Come on now. Just between the two of us. Johanka is my friend. She has no one else but me. The Inquisitor will surely take her away, and I'll never see her again. I just want to say goodbye to her before she disappears forever. What would you do in my place?
Well, since you put it that way, but I'd be taking a big risk, disobeying the bishop's orders. You'd have my head for it.
Of course. I wouldn't expect you to put yourself at risk without a reward.
Since it's you...
I'd almost shake on that. Almost. All right. Go on then. But make it quick, eh?
For sure. Thanks a lot. I owe you.
Good luck then.
Johanka, are you alright?
Yes, Henry. I'm fine. I'm glad to see you.
I spoke to the Inquisitor. He wants to put you on trial.
I know. It's all in God's hands now.
No, it's not. I mean, it is, of course. But the bishop has allowed me to defend you.
You want to defend me? Thank you, Henry, that's very kind of you. But you needn't bother. Our Lady won't let anything bad happen to me. I am her instrument, and I am completely in her hands. Everything that's happening is her sacred will.
But I won't stand by with my arms folded. You need someone to testify for you. As I said, I will defend you.
If you insist. Maybe it's the will of the Virgin that you came to me. So be it then.
I went to Ujits, like you asked.
That's good, Henry. I hope you purged yourself of your sins.
I did the pilgrimage of penance, like you said. And in the church, I begged the Virgin Mary for forgiveness.
And she will bless you, Henry. You're a good man. Remember that. And don't stray into wrongdoing again.
I won't. I made a donation to the church, too. And the parish priest there, Father Godwin, he was asking about you.
Was he? Well, what did you tell him?
Oh, just about everything that's going on and the things you were saying. He was quite moved by it, to tell the truth. He even gave me some writings.
You see? Maybe Our Lady is giving you a sign, too.
What did Bishop Yaroslav ask you about?
All sorts of things. Like how the Virgin Mary visits me, what she shows me, and about preaching to the people. Actually, he was really quite pleasant. He asked me about Skalitz, whether I go to church, and a lot of other things. And in the end, he told me I mustn't speak in public again about the visitations and that. But I couldn't obey an order like that. The Blessed Virgin is testing me, and I have to do what she asks, no matter who or what stands in the way.
I'd say he wasn't too happy about that.
No. He came there with his men, dispersed the people, and had me arrested and locked up here.
About that trial?
Yes, the trial.
I'll get some people who will testify for you in court. But Brother Nicodemus is worried you'll say things that will make the Inquisitor angry. Please don't do that. You have to talk to him respectfully, answer his questions with humility, and not say anything to annoy him. And don't say anything against the church or priests. Please.
I'll say only what the Blessed Virgin wants me to say.
Johanka, please. You mustn't say anything against him or the church. Be contrite. Maybe even admit you might have been wrong about some things. I don't think the Inquisitor is so bad. If you submit to him, he'll drop the charges.
You too now. You're speaking exactly the same as his assistant. The two of you joined forces against me, did you?
I've nothing to do with him. I didn't even know he was here. Believe me, I'm really trying to help you.
You don't believe me anymore, do you?
I do, Johanka, I believe you. But in court, you must speak reasonably, prudently. A lot depends on it. Maybe even your life.
I appreciate your concern for me, Henry, really, I do. But you must understand. I can't deny that the Virgin Mary visits me, or what she wants to tell us. Not now. After everything that's happened, I can't. Otherwise, she won't heal Matthias.
But you have to consider yourself and what's good for you. Surely you don't want to be convicted of heresy? That won't do anyone any good, neither you nor Matthias.
I've already told you. Everything is in the hands of the Blessed Virgin. I will accept with humility the fate she grants me.
Sacro! This is going to be a right mess. I spoke to Johanka.
And did you manage to convince her?
I'm afraid not. She's stubborn. She says she answers only to the Blessed Virgin.
Oh dear, Henry. That's not good at all. What about her family? Doesn't she have a relative she might listen to?
No. None of them survived the raid on Skalitz.
She has no one at all left in the world? Poor child.
See you later.
Matthias? You're better.
Henry? Is it you?
Yes, it's me. Who else would it be?
I'm glad you're here, Henry. I feel a bit better now. I'd even like to eat something. I must tell Johanka. She'll be glad.
Johanka's not here.
Oh? Where is she?
How to begin? Look, things got a bit complicated here. The main thing is, Johanka is in jail, awaiting trial.
What? What happened?
The Virgin Mary is speaking to Johanka, and Johanka is spreading her word to the people. But there's this Inquisitor who heard about it and had her arrested. He's putting her on trial for heresy.
Oh my God. How could such a thing happen? But if Our Lady is speaking to her, surely nothing can happen to her.
Well, I hope not. Trouble is, Johanka is very obstinate, and she's likely to say things in court that will just make it worse for her. Listen, Matthias, I need you to go with me and talk to her. Maybe together we can convince her to see sense.
I wish I could, but I'm still too weak to even get out of bed. I'm sorry, Henry. I just can't do it. You know what? Tell her I'm feeling better, and I agree with everything you tell her. Give her this dice. She'll understand. It'll almost be like I was there with you.
All right. Thanks, Matthias.
Henry, please, look out for her. And make sure nothing happens to her.
I'll do my best.
See you later.
About that trial?
Yes, the trial.
I spoke to Matthias.
What? But he's lying in a fever, isn't he?
No, he's much better. He asked about you. He wanted to come here, but he's not strong enough yet.
Oh, that's wonderful. You see, Our Lady helped him. And now, I have to do my part.
But doesn't it mean that you've already done your part?
Well,
What would be the point of it all if the Inquisitor were to have you imprisoned now? Or even worse?
It's a message. A final test. I mustn't fail now, after everything.
But you already passed the Virgin Mary's message on. Many people heard it, and many of them have amended their ways. You certainly haven't failed. Look, Matthias gave me this for you, and he asked me to tell you to look out for yourself.
Thank you, Henry. Go now. I need to rest.
Monsignor, I've heard of various irregularities in the province that might be of interest to you.
Very good, my son. A good Christian certainly shouldn't conceal such things. Please, speak.
The former parish priest of Rovna, Father Simon, went missing one day. Everyone thought he'd fled from the province, but in fact he just went to the woods and became a hermit.
I see. Why did he do that?
I couldn't tell you.
That's a pity. But I'm glad you told me about him.
There were Valdensians hiding in Ujits.
Really? And how did you find out about it?
Sir Hanush sent me to help the vicar track them down and catch them.
So, Sir Hanush had an interest in finding them?
Yes, that's right.
I'm pleased to hear it. It's not always possible to see eye to eye with secular lords in such matters. And how did it end up with the members of the sect?
They fled. The vicar is still trying to track them down.
That's unfortunate. Let's hope the vicar succeeds promptly in his mission.
A demon's skull was found on the church building site.
Yes. I heard something about it. A disturbing report. Tell me what you know about it.
It was a deception, sir. Someone made it with evil intentions, to frighten people. I found the skull and brought it to the local knacker. He confirmed it was a human skull with animal horns stuck on.
You did the right thing, Henry, in uncovering the deception and in telling me about it.
There are interesting things going on inside the monastery.
In the monastery? What kind of things?
The cicators get drunk on wine and play dice in the monastery cellars at night.
But how do you know about it? How does a servant of the royal hetman come by knowledge of the confidential affairs of the Brotherhood of Monks?
I caught wind of it. I heard it from a novice that the brothers were sending out at night to buy wine for them.
I see. And what was the name of this novice?
Lucas.
There is a novice of that name at the monastery. I shall have to speak to the prior about these matters. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. If you've nothing else to tell me, you may leave.
That's all, Monsignor.
All right, Henry. Thank you. But I hope you're not keeping anything from me.
God be with you.